So the second tutorial video, I'm going to cover the basics of how to program your robot. Um, so as mentioned in the previous video, there are different categories: inputs, outputs, logic, processing, mathematical operations, things like that. So the first one we're going to do is going to go look into the drivetrain category, and we're going to look at the different blocks. So we have, for the first two sets, we have a drive forward, and then we have a drive forward for 200 millimeters. So we click on drive forward. What's going to happen is it's going to tell the robot to drive forward. Now, the issue is that's all we tell the robot to do. So that's what it's going to do until we force the program to stop. So even when it collides against the wall, it will continue to move, and it even flips around. So it flips upside down, clips out, and then falls off the map. So you get all kinds of weird results. Okay. So in order to fix that issue, what we got to do is we have to give it a follow-up command, something to go afterwards, so then we probably tell it to maybe stop driving. Okay. And so we'll do also is we'll put a wait block in between. So we'll tell it to drive forward, and it's going to continue repeating that command for 1 second. Once that 1 second is passed, it moves on to the second line, which is the third line to stop driving. And there we go. So that works. Now, the thing is, like, this is very useful if have a lot of open space, but maybe if you're trying to make it go to a very exact point, maybe you want to measure it out, and you can use what is called the drive forward for 200 millimeter command. Okay. So here, the second part, we can actually say what distance is the robot going to move. So we can specify millimeters and inches, and so we'll kind of leave it at 200 millimeters and see what that does. So I go ahead, run the code. It goes up just a tiny little bit, about probably the distance or the length of the robot. Okay. So once it completes that command, it goes on afterwards, but because there's nothing else for it, we didn't tell it to do anything else, it's just going to stop. Okay. What we can also do is we can actually change that where it says forward, we can make it go in reverse. So that's a very, very useful thing. Okay. Next, you have your turn commands. Pretty much works the same way. You can tell the robot to turn left, turn right. If you just use the regular block, turn right, the robot's going to turn right for an indefinite period of time. So we could do like previously, we can add a wait block and then tell it to stop. Or we can also use the turn right for whatever many degrees we want. So we can put 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 180 degrees, whatever angle you want. But basically it'll complete that sequence and then it'll stop because there's nothing to do afterwards. The following two, heading and rotation, that's more of a latitude, longitude kind of thing for driving based off of a map, position, things like that. We're not really going to play around with that at all because it gets a little complicated. What does this don't wait do? All right. Okay, so if you want to add in a block, just simply drag and drop it. You get rid of it. You can kind of just grab it, move it out, uh, right click it, and then delete. Or if you want to save it for later, you can also disable the block. It grays it out, so that lets you know that it's not active. If you want to get rid of it, you can kind of just throw it out of the screen.